One of the worst financial mistakes made in the 20s. Let's check it out.
One of the biggest financial mistakes that I made in my 20s. I do not want you to make this like me because I thought I was doing things right. No, I was doing things so wrong. There are people saying you want to have an emergency fund, you want to have savings. So I took that very literally. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have an emergency fund. I'm going to have savings. And I worked so hard. I worked so hard to save up all this money. And guess what I did? I just racked up debt while saving money. I had so much money on high interest credit cards, yet I had so much money in savings, and I was like, good job, you're crushing it. The correct order, I would say, that I have learned now is to, yes, have an emergency fund. That is still very important. Have something where if life throws something crazy your way, you have an emergency fund to fall back on. An emergency fund number is going to look different for everybody based on your expenses. But once you have that emergency fund, pay off your debt. Pay off your debt. Don't just keep racking up more debt while you keep saving more money, because what are you saving that money for? You need to be paying off your debt, because when you have so much debt, what you're doing, especially on high interest cards, is you're paying more money every single month because of the high interest. While I was out there thinking I was crushing the savings game, all I was doing was adding more debt to my name. That is something I wish I could take back. I wish I could go back into my 20s and not rack up so much debt while just having a savings account that I wasn't touching, that I was just looking at like, you're cute. Emergency fund, then pay off your debt, then start thinking about more savings.
Okay, I love this advice. I like her enthusiasm. She's all smiling, and she admits, listen, I made a mistake, and she's just trying to share it with people. But I love her energy. Her energy is like really positive. But I do gotta elaborate on a little bit what she was saying, because that is the honest truth, and that happens so much with people, right? Is you start getting new into investing, right? You try and do the right thing. But number one, when it comes to personal finance, the first thing that people accumulate, it seems like a huge percent of society, is debt. That's usually your first way of your introduction with finance, is accumulating debt. And now when that spiral happens, it's like, man, it could get way out of control. Some people started with credit card debt at the age of 17, and it carries all the way throughout their life, right? So usually people introduce into personal finance who are having debt. But then after that, you start getting more information, and you start hearing, okay, I keep on hearing about how important it is to save. It's so important to save. Save. So you take that quite literal. Like, you just ignore your debt and you just save. Or you start hearing videos of people saying how you use your credit cards to get reward points. So you're saying, okay, I'm saving, right? I'm trying to maximize my saving as much as possible. I have an emergency fund. That way I could protect myself if anything were to happen. Good. I know I'm covered there. But at the same time, you're saying to yourself, okay, I'm using my credit cards now for reward points. I'm doing all these things with my credit cards. I'm paying for my everyday use, my basic needs, my vacation, all that stuff. But you're doing that on top of debt. You see, people get really comfortable with paying just a minimum payment. And you just do not really understand, right? Understand how much how much interest, you're actually paying on those credit cards. I mean, it is destroying you. And in her case, yes, she's saving, but we all know, right? Basically, inflation is tearing up her savings. So the value that she's having in her savings is getting torn up. It's getting torn away. But you also have it in the other side, which is with your debt. Your debt is continually it's decreasing little by little, but not as much as you expect, because you're paying so much in interest. So you're paying so much in interest, you're losing so much money having it, in just in a high yield savings account. You're screwed, right? And she learned that. Man, that was a stupid mistake that she was making. But I'm here to tell her this. Okay, that's not that bad of a mistake. We've seen worse. I've seen worse. I mean, to be honest with you, most of society don't have anything saved. Like, most have anything, and a few have even $500. Now that's some scary shit right there. Like, where you don't even save at all, and you're dealing with debt, and then you increase your lifestyle, and now every paycheck you get is going towards bills, and you have no money left at the end of the month to do anything. Saving and investments ain't even an option. So for her case, that's not that bad. Right? Yes, she probably recognized I was stupid in hindsight. I should just pay off my credit card debt and I'll be in a good position. But for her, though, psychologically, saving and building an emergency fund probably gave her some room to breathe. and then she just holds on to that emergency fund and just leaves it alone, and then she goes ahead and tackles her debt, she's golden, right? She's golden. If she just goes and she just tackles her debt, then she's good, because she knows if any emergency happens now, I'm not going to run to use my credit card's emergency. I have a savings account that can use that. And that's the key, guys. That's truly the number one key. That's why Dave Ramsey gives awesome advice. Okay, I don't even want to start with this guy, because every time I mention his name, people just come at me. But Dave Ramsey is an awesome guy. But the $1,000 that he talks about for your starter, and I understand for people out there, he even Dave Ramsey himself acknowledges it's not enough, but he's trying to naturally light a fire under your ass. That way you could just pay off your debt as quick as possible, because you know $1,000 is not a good amount. But that's the one thing I just don't agree with Dave Ramsey on, right? You need more than $1,000. At least have the deductibles for your insurance in there and a few months of an emergency. Because right now, you know, an emergency fund is, see, back in the days of having an emergency fund was for like a flat tire or for just unexpected bills or something that pops up, right? Unexpected expenses pop up. But now, in this current time, with all these layoffs, you need to have at least 3 to 6 months saved ASAP, right? Your credit cards, you could take care of that later on down the road. But right now, you got to protect yourself. And having an emergency fund, that's going to protect yourself. In case you get laid off, at least you know you have a few months to survive. If you have a job that gives you a severance, awesome. Use that severance to survive, but keep that emergency fund intact. Like, there is no other time where you need an emergency fund, and you need to make sure your emergency fund is holding on strong. You cannot just deplete your emergency fund. You can't. You certainly need emergency fund. So I love videos like this because it's not all drama, whatnot. It's the truth. It's simple things that people overlook, and you might think it's dumb, whatever, but she's sharing it with people out there because there's a good possibility so many people are doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing. They're not paying attention to their credit card debt. Some people can even answer the question about how high their interest rate is on their credit card. They're just happy they got approved for it, to get some reward points, and that's all they care about. So to her, good luck. All right, guys, good luck to her. Awesome, awesome, awesome video. And I love the fact that I commented on it because it was really informative, and I really hope, guys, I added some value to it. Thanks for watching, guys. And at the same time, hit the like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Catch you guys on my next one. Peace.